And thanks for having me here. And well, actually, my background is kind of different. Before going to University of Michigan, I actually wanted to be a fashion designer, but that kind of changed. And I also wanted to be an architect, but my parents were like, no, we're not going to have that in this family. So from a young age, I was always interested in just breaking stuff from repairing them, making sure they work, making sure know how things work. So the first thing I did was I broke one of the toasters, but then we were living in the Netherlands, so I managed to fix it up and it was working again. So from that point on, it was more like all just engineering, just know how things work, how to design things, how to make people comfortable, how to work on, just problem solution, solving and stuff like that. So engineering was the route for me, and I ended up, having a bachelor's from computer and electrical engineering. Currently work for General Electric, and my main role in General Electric is to do asset optimization. So we work with pretty much aviation, most of the nuclear power plants, and managing their assets, just to know how they can be more efficient, how they can monitor and see what's going on with their engines and different things. So,
the next question is, if you can kind of reflect back on your time at UM-Dearborn, was there any activities or professors or anything that stood out, like a highlight of your time there?
Well, I guess College of Engineering is like a different world. From my experience, you will have situations where you will feel like you're in a nightmare completely. It might be for the whole 4 years, or it might just be for 1 or 2 semesters. One of my best professors, or I'll say 3 of them, Dr. Shudar, Dr. Miller, and Dr. Zhang. They pretty much, guide you through most of your classes, let you know what your problems are, what you're gonna face in different classes, and there are a couple of professors that just, just real-time nightmares. Like, when you're in their class, you're like, you know what? In the next life, engineering is not what I want to do. Like, this is not happening. But it was a really nice experience. Coming from the College of Engineering, you meet a lot of students, different people from different countries who have different programs, and it gives you an idea of the mindset of different people and how people think and how people want to go when they graduate and change the world and different things. So the experience in College of Engineering was, for me, it was superb. I don't think I want to do it again, but it was a really nice experience.
Okay, I know we had touched on what you guys are currently doing in your professional lives. If you can kind of just go into those positions and like the day of a life, like what exactly you're taking on and what you're working. Thank you.
For me, life at a day at GE is pretty exciting. The thing I like about working at General Electric is every day I get to do a different task. I get to be a different person with different projects that are presented to me. Going from just, because I just started working there, so you go from just having an entry-level position, and sometimes you can end up just managing a project. Like the project I'm on right now is with GE Aviation. We're working with Boeing. I'm working with British Airways, Air France, Emirates Airlines, Southwest, and pretty much the whole airline industry. And then what we're doing is we get all their data and we try to see in flight time, how much fuel are they using, how many data points they need to manage the different obstructions in the air, turbulence, and different things with their engine. And so on a daily basis, I might be writing a program which I was trying to run away from, but I guess it still keeps in one way or the other. And so at GE, there are lots of employees that I work with, and I get to manage projects even from people that have been working there for 20 years. And you meet some, you meet some obstructions from people, and they look at you like, look at this 27-year-old trying to tell me what to do. I've been here for 20 years, and who is this guy? So when they see you, and first of all, they try to look up your profile real quick, and when he starts, and they start calling around, who is this guy? But it doesn't bother me because, I mean, that's, being an engineer, you should be able to, you know, communicate with everybody and, express yourself and do your job and, you know, at the end go home. And at the end, what is the main thing is, board of directors and whoever, and the people that own the company, they want results. So they're not interested in, you know, the conflicts between you and your coworker. They just want to have the revenues, either the second quarter, the third quarter, the fourth quarter. So, but there for me and G is pretty exciting. I like it, and you know, it's really hard right now getting a job. So just coming out of college and just going straight into General Electric is a really big thing.
Thank you. Next is, what lessons have you learned at UM-Dearborn, whether they were in the classroom or outside the classroom, that have most benefited you in your current position?
I think coming from the University of Michigan, I kind of look at it like the progress I've made. You tend to look back and say, I was pretty much made from the University of Michigan based on not just the classes, but with your professors, the friends you have, your mindset, and the different classes you take gives you a perspective of what you might be doing along the line, and it can be from program, because when you take a programming class, you have a different mindset on how you think, how you solve a problem. If you take an engineering management class, you look at a corporate level, how you interact with people. Then when you do your co-op, you do your internships, then you're in the corporate environment where you're actually doing real life projects that have, you know, money tied to it. And what's good about that is you'll be partaking in projects that regular engineers would be doing, and it would be like a duration of maybe a year or 6 months, and you probably have maybe 3 weeks to 2 months to handle those projects. So you have a whole span of different things you're doing in college that, you know, prepare you for a real lifetime experience. And I would think for me it was also different because I was an international student, plus my tuition was like up in the sky. So you never wanted to be in that situation where you didn't do good in the class, because when you fail the class, you know, you have to call your parents and, you know, they have to send money and they have to ask you why you failed the class. Your tuition is like $12,000 and I have to send $12,000 again. You have to retake the class and stuff like, so you kind of like, you're in that position where it's there's a lot to it, being an international student and going to the University of Michigan, and it's just, you know, so you look at it and but it's a great experience, and I'm not sure what everybody's doing right here. If you're in college, you're trying to go to college, you're trying to go to U of M, or what you're trying to do, but it's always good that when you're in college, you make friends with the right people that can guide you in the right direction. You definitely are going to have a lot of fun, but you should know when the fun stops. You know, and from that point, you can say, okay, this is what I want to do, and always make friends, and just make friends with the right people. And that's one thing I've always learned, you know, from going to U of M.
Kind of segues into the next thing. Since you guys have now all made that transition from, well, some of you are still students, but from students to professionals, what is one piece of advice that you can offer the students here as students? And then what's one piece of advice that you can offer them when they become professionals?
That's true. Yeah. I would say the same thing, but for me, the experience was always never take anything, don't take anything personal when you take classes and you fail, and you go to your professor and he has no reason to fail you. Don't take it personal. Just know he just doesn't like you. That's just what it is. So never take it personal. And if I could, I mean, for me, if I could do things over again, I would. Even if I did get good grades, not saying I did fail the class or anything, but I would always rethink and look at, you know, the problem at hand and take more time to do the homework better. You know, even if you do get good grades, but there's always the fact that you will have bumps in everything you do, class, friends, work, just everywhere. But never take anything personal. Just learn from those experiences and just move on. It makes you a better person, because the other person probably is not going to go as far as you're going to go. So you just take that as a learning experience, and you can always advise your friends, your family members, and people around you. But the thing is, in college, all the resources are around you. There's nothing that is lacking. There are professors, there are counselors, and if you're in College of Engineering, you're definitely going to meet Ray Perez. He's always there to help you. There are professors that will go out of their way to come talk to you to figure out, okay, this is what you're doing wrong, versus just sitting there and just saying, I don't get it, and just turning in your paper and you just get what you get. You know, so you always have to go out of your way. There's so much, even if it's not on campus, there's just different things you can do. There are other people, friends you have that might be in other colleges that you can talk to them and say, hey, I don't get this class. I don't know what's going on. This doesn't make sense to me. You know, always go out of your way, go one step ahead. Be one step ahead of your class or your professor, whatever you're doing, and that's the advantage you always have in life and in school. And it's always worked for me, even right now in my job. So.
Thank you. Okay, and then lastly, like I said, you guys have all graduated multiple times, multiple degrees. Outside of what it means in your position, what does it personally mean to you to be a college graduate and have a degree?
What I like to say is, just in case no one knows, I'm from Nigeria, and in Nigeria, education means a lot of things. Like, people will not listen to you if you're not educated. You cannot go anywhere. You cannot go from A to B without being educated. I mean, if you even have a high school degree, that's just like nothing. That is not even going anywhere. So I think education means a lot because I'm only here because my parents are educated. My dad grew up really, really poor. He never even met his grandfather because his grandfather left because he could not feed them or take care of them or provide anything for them. So for me, I used to always hear the stories of, you know, my dad would tell me, hey, I grew up in a mud house. Each time it rained, we always had to rebuild the house. So I slept, I was always standing when I slept or even laying on the floor, and when I would wake up, there would be mud all over my clothes. I didn't have any shoes. So living in different countries, I lived in over 6 countries, Middle East to Europe to back here in the States. And all that is only possible because he was educated. My dad wasn't educated, none of this would be possible. I would not be here going to school, paying $12,000 a semester or even more. It would not happen. It was not even possible. So what I would say is, you know, with the opportunities here, because back home, there's only, to get into college, there's only one exam. If you fail an exam, you're at home for the next year. And if you keep failing, if it takes you 10 years, you're at home. So the opportunities are here, and I would just say, you know, just take advantage of them, and it changes your life in a different way, in the way you want to go. So, I mean, education is a big thing. So, you know, just, you know, have the right people around you. It doesn't have to be family. It could be friends. It could be even someone on TV that just, you know, their lives have changed due to education. Because one thing you know about education is it cannot be taken away from you. Once you have it, it's yours forever. You know, other things can be taken away from you. If you don't have education, you can get fired, and that's it. You have a high school degree, that's what you have. If you don't, that's what you have. But once you have education, and the more education you have, you can always leverage that education and move forward with your life. So I'm just saying. I'm going to add to that just to say that just for everybody, like we have different people that we envy in our lives. It could be a musician, a rapper, it could be an actor, it could be Bill Gates, Donald Trump, whoever. But you always have to remember that every one of these people did a lot of things to get where they are right now. You can start from, you know, up to P. Diddy, Lil Wayne, whatever. If you went to the studio, let's take an artist. If you went to the studio and see how many hours they put in to actually produce that music, that artwork, or even a painter, you know, there's a lot of hours put in there. And there's a lot of talent that comes from that. So you go with your talent, and with that talent, you have to educate yourself in that path. So there's a lot that just comes to it. Even with actors, you have to go to acting school. And even going through acting school, when you now want to audition, you have like a long line of 1,000, 2,000 people. So based on your
your interest in the path you took and how much experience you have from your education, you get picked on what you become. So that's how, then maybe 10 years from now, people are like, oh, I want to be like this guy. But they don't really know the path that you took to be where you are. So the thing is, you have to have that passion and that drive for what you want, then you just go for it. And it might pertain to taking classes, or it might be something that's unconventional. It means you have to just have that knowledge and just go for that. So sometimes what you become in life might not come out of college, but just know that that path which you take might require you to do a lot of things.